Hello, I'm back. After 2 weeks of not posting, excuse me, I was looking for places to stay in Dublin during my master's, and it's not easy, let me tell you. Maybe you've heard that there is a crisis. Anyways, today's video is not going to be about that. It's going to be about the IELTS test. So if you don't know what IELTS is, it's the International English Language Testing System, and it's a standardized test that many students take to apply for a master's, when applying for a master's, when applying for a bachelor's, or when applying for English-speaking jobs, for example. So it tests your vocabulary, your comprehension, your grammar, and punctuation, and your fluency as well. You have to pass each part, so there are 4 parts and you have to pass each one of them individually. If you fail one, you'll have to retake the test. So, not fun. Preparing for it is pretty straightforward, you just have to stick to it and practice a lot. Yeah, so I took the test in January of this year and got a band 8. In total, there are 9 bands. 9 is like perfect, you are basically a native speaker, and 8 is still very, very good. Most students, according to a survey I will insert here, get a band 6 or 7, and most universities ask you for a band 6.5 or 6. 6.5 or 6. There are 2 other similar tests that are widely accepted nowadays as well. They are Duolingo's test and TOEFL, so TOEFL. They're also good tests, you can look into taking them. I'm just going to talk about the IELTS test because that's the one I took and the one where I know how it works. So, I took the IELTS Academic test. There are different ones. There is a general one, there is an academic one, and the academic one is the one you need to get into university. So I was very nervous before taking the IELTS test because it's 3 hours long, around 3 hours long. You have to take all 4 parts at once, and it's also a pretty expensive test, so it's around, I think I paid around 200 euros, but I will correct it if I'm wrong. But to help you and other students, I actually created an overview with everything that I've learned about IELTS, and I will make a separate video about the overview that I made, but you can get it in the description. I will add a link. Check it out. I'm sure it will be very helpful because I have added literally like every phrase that I used in my speaking, in my writing, everywhere on this page in Notion. Check out Notion too. I have videos on my channel to introduce you to it. How I prepared for IELTS is I took a lot of practice tests. There are a lot of practice tests on the internet. You can just Google IELTS practice test and you'll see a few of them pop up. The ones that you should definitely do are the ones from the official website because they're the most reliable. There are a lot of them on other websites, but I've found that sometimes I have answered correctly and the answer was counted as not correct, so that may be a bit confusing. However, most of them are fine, and for practice purposes it's still fine, as long as you can kind of double check if the answer is correct, maybe. Another thing I did is I took online lessons. Even though my English is okay, there is a certain way that you have to speak during IELTS. They want you to use idioms, they want you to use beautiful language, not say I like, because it's too simple, and say I am keen on or I am fond of. And these are the kind of things that I have never used in my speech before. So it was very hard to adjust to the new kind of language, to a more sophisticated and elaborate language. For example, you also shouldn't say or shouldn't always use beautiful, like the city is beautiful. No, you can say the city won over my heart, or the city was picturesque or epic. I don't know, you can say that many different things. And in the IELTS test it's definitely very important to use a whole like wide array of words, of vocabulary. It's one of the most important things, especially in speaking. Yeah. In the writing part, it's more important that you know how to describe things, how to describe graphs, and use a very structured approach. You cannot just write everything you think of and just write it down in a block of text. there should definitely be a structure. So an introduction, a middle, and an end, so that you get more points basically. But I've also described it on the page. I took online lessons on this platform called iTalki, #not sponsored. I found a tutor there who used to be an IELTS examiner, and you can just type that in, like IELTS English on iTalki. I will have a link below for you. It was the best decision because I was a bit lost. I didn't know even where to start, if my English is good enough. And the first thing we did was we had an assessment of my English. We did like a mock test of the IELTS test, and he told me what score I would have gotten without preparation in the speaking part, which he said would have been a 7, and I got an 8.5 in my speaking part. So it's all due to preparation. And how I prepared with him was we had mock tests and speaking where we used to go through the speaking part of the test. It would be like a real exam situation. He gave me some phrases to use, some structure to use when I'm speaking. Same for writing, same for listening and everything else. So that was very helpful. I had in total 5 to 7 lessons for sure. And we did all the parts. We did the writing part, the speaking part. I think I had some questions for him for the listening part, but mainly I studied for that on my own because there are a lot of tests online where you can practice the listening part. I will do another quick video about my strategy for the listening part too, because I think it literally saved me. And I'm so grateful I got a good score on it. I think it was an 8 as well. So in summary, first of all, I informed myself. I googled about the IELTS test, about the structure of the test, how many parts there are, that there are 4, how it is graded. It's also very important to know what they are looking for in your speech and your writing. You can also find that online. Then I booked some online lessons on iTalki with an ex-IELTS examiner, and that has helped me a lot. Literally, like the best thing I did was booking a few lessons. Even one lesson helps so much. You can ask your questions, you can tell the person to grade you kind of, or send this person your writing and they'll give you some feedback. If you can, book a few lessons on iTalki or with an English teacher of your choice. Third thing I did was a lot of practicing. There are a few apps, IELTS speaking apps that you can download to practice the speaking part and record yourself and listen to yourself, how you are sounding, what language you're using. Then I also went on a lot of websites with practice tests and practiced, wrote a lot of texts, did a lot of listening exams, did a lot of practice exams. Only this way you can get better, if you practice and learn from your mistakes. If there is a thing that you're getting wrong over and over again, you should just practice it a lot more. And just focus on that. Don't do the easy things that you already know how to do. Focus on the parts that are really tough. And yeah, it is draining and it is hard, but it is so worth it. So please do it. Yeah. And another thing I did was, because I had a tutor, he gave me a few phrases to learn, structure for each task, and I memorized most of it. Other than that, so this memorization, practice, Googling a lot about IELTS. What helped a lot as well is watching a lot of YouTube videos about IELTS. So if you type in IELTS in YouTube, you'll get a lot of options. And also some channels also have mock exams, so mock speaking exams that you can learn from. So if you type in Band 8 speaking exam IELTS, you will find them, and they've been very useful as well. And when you're listening to a speaking exam, think to yourself, what would I have answered to this question? So that you can also learn from them. Other than YouTube, also there are some podcasts that I will also link below about IELTS tests and about phrases to use, about structures to use, how to approach it, and that helped me a lot as well to get a Band 8. I still can't believe it. A Band 8 is like really good and I'm content with it. I felt under a lot of pressure before taking the exam and during the exam as well, because it's kind of hard to just focus on doing it well without thinking, what if I fail? What if I don't get the mark that I need, the score that I need, and then I cannot apply to university, I have to retake the exam. I really try to take my own advice and just do my best. because that's the only thing I can do. I have prepared, I have studied a lot, and what I can do is just put it all out now during the exam, and if it doesn't work, I'll do it again. But I was really hoping that I will not have to do it again, because it's expensive, mostly because of that. If you have the IELTS exam in front of you, if you still have to pass it before your application, master's application or job application, check out my template below in the description. I hope it will help you. It has literally all that I've learned, and I spent hours upon hours on building it, and I wish you good luck with your exam. I'm sure you will do great. Don't stress about it too much, just prepare, do a lot of practice tests, and you'll be fine. It's a standardized test. You just have to learn how to take it, how it works, and then you'll be great. Check out my template below. Follow me on Instagram. Subscribe to this channel for more study abroad IELTS content, and see you in the next video. I hope it will not take me 2 weeks again. I'll do my best to have a new video for you next week. I said it here. Okay. Bye bye.